So if he shows up, usually a little bit late, so if he shows up, we'll do that. If he doesn't show up, then Darnell's gonna give a speech today. So,
I might
so
put
either
you
way.
guys to sleep.
I'm sure you won't.
Darnell, come on. He's setting your expectations low, that's, come on, man. So, welcome to the Fresno City Toastmasters for our guest who hasn't, this is her first one here. Is this your
Thank
first
you.
like, Toastmasters?
Toastmasters.
It'll be a gift.
Thank you. That's so great.
Okay, in town?
Yes.
Okay, cool, okay. Well, welcome, and thanks for coming. So what I like to do is usually, if you look at the, everybody's got an agenda. Haley, Hope, we need to get you one. Haley, you wanna grab one just behind you and we'll push that over. There he is. All right, there's Coach. So Darnell's off the hook on this one.
Thank you. Thank you.
Are you good to
Thank
do one of your speeches today?
Both
Practice them
of them.
from last week?
I can do
wanna
one.
do-
I can
you
do
want
one.
one?
Yeah.
Okay.
I know the one.
Inspiration?
The motivation, yeah, the inspiration one.
And I can do the other one then. I can do
Okay.
I'm
Okay.
just gonna practice both.
No, man, I got not today.
Okay.
I can get that other one
I
down.
got
man.
something in my car.
All right, cool.
And then Hope, you mind grabbing one for Coach, and then please. All right, so if you look at that bottom left corner of your agenda, you got that mission statement there. It says, we provide a supportive and positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth. So that's one of the things that we really push here at Fresno City Toastmasters. I am your VP of Education and the treasurer of this one. Denny is our president, who she couldn't make it today. So I'm gonna open and close the meeting. And any kind of club business, we have a contest coming up. Cordell, we did that last week. So he's going in and representing us for the inspirational and the humorous speeches. So that's gonna be cool, and we'll get you the info. Darnell and I were talking about it. We think it's like the 17th. It's gonna be next Saturday. And I want to check in the email.
17th is this Saturday.
Or this Saturday coming up, yeah,
So
the next
is
one.
it going down this Saturday? Or we don't have no clue yet?
He said he got an email.
I got an email with, at least with the things that he has to, Fill out.
I already have all of that,
okay,
because I had sent, that's why I sent Mike the email, letting him know I had all the paperwork and who to turn it
right,
into
okay.
to identify the contest chair, so I could
Okay,
turn
let me
it.
check that email one more time.
Okay.
And I'll get that over right away.
All right.
But I didn't really check that part of it. I thought he was maybe gonna send it out, maybe that's what I read, and I just didn't read the rest of it. So I'll check that, make sure we get on that, real fast.
Cool.
So he'll be representing us with those two speech categories. So Coach Cordell, and that'll be good. So he'll practice one of the speeches today. So we'll do that. And then other than Coach, the contest, anything else, Darnell, business-wise, Corinne?
Just officers training for the
right.
officers and those that,
Which Renee's gonna do, I
those
think,
that aspire to be officers. We have training this.
Saturday.
No, it's not Saturday, it's the 20th.
So that's the
It's from
following
6 o'clock to 8 o'clock, it'll be in the
Tuesday,
evening.
maybe?
Yeah, it'll be
Okay.
Tuesday, correct. Those for you who desire to make sure we get the credit for our officers being trained, we'll try to get 100%, but
Okay,
if we can't, just let me know
okay,
who wasn't able to attend, I can see if I can do a one-on-one with them.
okay, cool, thanks, Darnell.
You
And then I know Michelle, so Michelle's been with us for a little bit. She was with us during COVID area, and then she took a little bit of a break and then came back, and she's been with us for almost a year, I think. And I guess she's getting high demand in her job, and they got a lot of her running around, doing all kind of stuff. They usually take the busy person that's really hard worker and critical thinker, and they just give her more work, so that's what they're doing. And so she's going to probably have to part ways just for probably, I'm guessing temporarily until things kind of settle down. So I think March is her last month. She's gonna try and make it when she can, but we're gonna miss her. She's our VP of PR, and that's how I think Raquel found us. She has probably a post from her that she put out. So we'll work on filling that role and that kind of thing. So I think on club business, that's it. Unless you think of anything else, Corinne, no? All right, with that, I will bring up our Toastmaster of the meeting, is Mr. Corinne Catenjo.
Hello everyone, I'm your Toastmaster today, and the Toastmaster is like a conductor of the event. He introduces the theme of the day, and then he introduces the members who are participating in different roles, like the general evaluator, who then introduces his evaluating team, and then the speakers and the table topics master. So I'm just going to introduce all of those people who are going to participate and conduct with me this event. The theme of the day today is ways to show you care. I'm going to break the rules today because I'm also the grammarian of the day and instantly introduce the word philanthropic. Why am I doing that? Because it has a direct connection with the theme of the day. In order to care for somebody, you have to have a kind heart. So philanthropic means being kind, caring for others, being benevolent, being generous. Now I would add a lot of other adjectives to this theme or topic, if you will. I do believe that caring for others should be based on some system. In other words, you have to be consistent in your endeavor. If somebody offended you, it doesn't mean you cut the ties instantly. You have to figure out a way out of that situation. That's kindness. Then you have to be loyal in order to care for other people. I do believe you have to be dedicated, and you have to be sincere. Those are the qualities, I think, that really establish your figure on the plane of kindness and care. So with that, I'm going to introduce the general evaluator of today, who is Mr. J. Myers.
Sure. Thank you, Corinne. And since Corinne's already jumped ahead and brought our grammarian word of the day up there, we have a few roles that we need to fill. So Renee's not going to be here. We need an awe counter.
Yeah, got it.
Sarah, boom. Thank you, Sarah. And then I know Coach is going to be giving a speech. Do you still want to do timer, or you want me to pick that up? You're going to be good on the timer?
Yeah.
All right. Maybe, well, I'll leave that, because I'm going to call you up anyway to talk about that. And then we need one more evaluator for Coach's speech. So I'll be evaluating Darnell. You good, Darnell, to go first? Or do you want Coach?
Well, with Coach doing he's doing a run, so we normally do a round robin, where everybody
First.
goes around, where everybody gives feedback in the room on the speech. because
Okay,
we're not-
gotcha.
Yeah.
Round robin, got you.
Yeah, he's not giving a traditional speech, he's just
Got
giving a practice run.
Okay, but you're still good with the sequence? You going first and?
We can do that.
Yeah, okay. All right, so we're good on that. So with that, since we're good on our word of the day, I'm gonna bring up Sarah, our pot counter. You wanna tell us a little bit about that?
Hot counter is probably the most fun one that we get to do here. It's identifying all the different crush words. And when you start doing that and start listening for the different crush words, ahs, ums, like, so's, all of those different things, it makes us better speakers. We learn to take a breath, take a pause, instead of just using the and doing this. I am an expert at using those crush words, and I have gotten a lot better at it, which is exciting. And it's just an opportunity to be able to practice and to recognize it. I think one of the most profound things that, or profound's probably not the right word, but when I heard the governor speak one time, I had only listened to him one time. It was a 7-minute speech, and he had 37 ums, and I had started counting them all because I had gotten used to it here, and it's just one of those things. But it does help us be able to be better speakers, and so that's why we help point it out, not to criticize, but to help encourage, like, hey, this is what you're hearing, because sometimes we don't hear it ourselves. Counter, there it is. We'll report back at the end.
It just helps people to listen to the message when there's a lot of the ums and ahs. It's very hard to get over those if they're very blatant and frequent. It's hard to listen to the actual message itself. And if it's one thing our guests remember, that's it. After one meeting, it's the ah counter, because then they start watching themselves. Coach Cordell, you want to come up and discuss what the timer roll is?
Thank you. I promise I won't be philanthropic on the time today, especially with my speech. I won't go past 7 minutes. The timer for the speeches, we go 5 to 7 minutes. So for when they get to,
5 minutes.
5 minutes, light turn green. 6 minutes, turn yellow, right there. And to the 7 minutes, turn red.
What happens at 8 minutes?
So with the table topics, it'll be 1 to 2 minutes, right? Are we doing table topics then? Okay, table topics 1 to 2 minutes. At 1 minute green, 1.5 yellow, 2 minutes red. So that is
Evaluators too.
evaluators are 2 minutes,
2 to 3.
2 to 3 minutes. Same thing, 2 minutes green, 2.5 yellow, 3 minutes red. So that is the timer. Thank you.
And that's a kind of an orange, yellow, red.
Yellow, red.
Fuse issue in there. So when you see those two top colors, just know that's yellow. You're right in the landing pad there. The only other role is Zoom Master. We don't really do much with the recording. We're very philanthropic when it comes to that. I know some of us don't want to be filmed. We talked about that today, and that's okay. And I think that was a good thing. We're slowly trying to move into more of a live person experience as well, but sometimes we have members that are out of town and want to still join. So we still have the hybrid version of our Toastmasters, but we want to try and get to live as much as we can here. So that is the Zoom Master role, and with that I will bring our Toastmaster back up to give our introduction of our first speech.
Thank you, Joey. Our first speaker is Mr. Darnell Evans. Mr. Darnell Evans is a distinguished Toastmaster. He began his journey in Toastmasters in Fresno in 2011. Over the years, he has held leadership positions within the club, area, division, and district, including President, Vice President of Education, Vice President of Membership, Vice President of Public Relations, Secretary, Sergeant at Arms, Area Governor, Division Director,
Wow,
Club
Darnell.
Coach, and Newsletter Editor.
Wow. What haven't you done?
District director, yeah.
He recently retired
Are
from
you
his position
comfortable
at
being filmed?
IRS
Can I
after
follow your speech?
37 years of
Thank you.
service. During his time there, he held various leadership positions too, including frontline manager, department manager, operation manager, supervisory management, program manager, and equal opportunity counselor. So with that, I'm introducing Mr. Darnell Evans.
Thank you, Toastmaster. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and most welcome guests. What this is, it's called an educational. This is not a traditional speech. We normally do educationals where we try to educate our members on different aspects of Toastmasters. What I'm going to talk about today, I hope we had all of our members around this time of year. We start assessing the club. We start preparing for the next Toastmaster year, which starts July the 1st. And this time of year, we start assessing each member and decide who's the best fit for different positions and started calling them and put the talent where it meets. So we start assessing each member and decide who's the best fit for different positions and started calling them and put the talent where it meets. So what I'm gonna go over is how to do a leadership succession planning and develop leadership talents within the club. I should have brought my clicker. Okay. The objective of it is to engage the members in succession planning, prepare leadership for exit transition, leadership training for the clubs on Tuesday night, this upcoming Tuesday night. 20th. It's not moving. Okay, what is succession planning? Succession planning can be defined as a purposeful and systematic effort made by the organization to ensure leadership continue. You want to make sure that you have continuous people rotating in and out, and to retain and develop knowledge, intellectual capital for the future, and encourage individual members, group, and development. And that's one of the things we do in Toastmaster. We definitely promote growth and development. Jim Collins once said in his book, good to great. He said, people are the most important asset is wrong. People are not the most important asset. The people are. Good to great depends on having the right people on the bus at the right time, and that's so important. Sometimes when we think somebody's right to be in a position, sometimes it's just not the right time for them. They have a lot of things going on, like what he mentioned with the PR, with membership coming along. We need them now to promote the club. They're just not available. So sometimes we have to look at what's the right fit. I know when I was asked to become club growth director, in the past, I said no because my job was demanding. So when I retired last year, I've been retired a little bit, a year and a couple of months ago. When I retired, they came back to me and asked, and I thought about it, and I said, Toastmaster has been very generous to me. It helped me a lot through my leadership journey. It helped me with the different promotions and exposure. I thought this is an opportunity for me to give back, so I went ahead and ran for club growth director, and currently I'm serving as the club growth director for the district. So those are some things I had to look at, making sure I was going to be available for Toastmasters. What is succession planning such a hot topic? Why is it such a hot topic? One, board concerns and directives. That's one of the things that the leadership is really concerned about. Are we developing our members to come in behind us? Making sure we have that to come in behind us. Making sure we have that group of people ready to come on in and follow, because we only serve 1 year in the position. After a year, new people come in, so it's so important that we make sure that those that's coming behind us has the knowledge and the training to fill those 7 positions that's vacant. And next, increase turnover. We always have a big turnover. Knowledge and the training to fill those 7 positions that's vacant. And next, increase turnover. We always have a big turnover. Members who have been regarded as successors to key positions left by surprise. Sometimes we identify somebody and they just can't serve. They leave, and what happens? We don't have a public relations person. We don't have a vice president of education. Some key positions. So those are some reasons why it's a hot topic. And devoted members are leaving. Sometimes older people leave. They do too. Sometimes it's not because they're unhappy. It's because they die. Sometimes some of us leave. And what happens? All that knowledge goes to them. We don't have no one to fill in behind them. Sometimes it becomes very challenging, and that's why succession planning is so important. And leaders complain about that they have no one ready to fill the leadership positions. We hear that a lot when it comes up to the April deadline, when June comes here and it's time for July and we have to fill leadership positions. We hear, we don't have nobody. Why you don't have nobody? You had all this time to prepare your successor. That's why it's so important. That's why succession planning is always a hot topic in big organizations, especially the workplace as well. This thing doesn't like me. Okay. Trends that that's impacting succession planning, the number of future leaders, that's a big impact. How many do we have coming up for our leaders? I can ask you, acting president, how many we have in the pipeline to become our next president? How many do we have?
How many do we have to cajole, drive by guillotines, all that stuff?
Yes. Okay. And then the loyalty members might despite a focus on training and things like that. Let's see, God, this thing is just going, okay. 3 keys to an effective succession planning strategy. Decide on the key positions. Look at the positions that we have up. We have coming up the president, vice president of education, vice president of membership, vice president of public relations, secretary, treasurer, and sergeant at arms. We have 7 that we have to start planning for. Then we have to map out the current talent and capabilities of that gap. Then we have to create a leadership succession management plan to measure the results. So that means we have to look at those and we have to assess by April. That's when we normally have our elections, right? In April, on who's the best fit and who has the time to give to those positions? Okay. And some of the things that we look at when the officers are leaving, we try to do an officer evaluation where we do a 360 on each office to see where they need help or what they did well. And then we do a leadership roster. That's what we have to turn into Toastmaster each year, a list of our 7 rosters, and they have to be turned in timely for us to get credit for it. And then a membership roster. And then we also turn over notes for specific events and functions, those events that we've held in the past, such as open house and speech contests. We turn over those notes so that the new officers that come in, they don't have to reinvent the wheel and come up with other things for those things. Okay, any questions? Thank you.
Thank you, Ernell.
You're welcome.
Our next speaker is a very dedicated one because he speaks inspirationally in front of young audiences, and he encourages them to keep the focus on life and their future. This is our coach, Cordell. Please come on and introduce what you are going to do today, because I know that you are going to rehearse your speech.
Yes.
And we have heard that speech last time, if I'm
Yep.
not mistaken. So this is not new, but he's going to participate in Toastmasters International speech contest.
And humorous.
So therefore, he will talk about it probably a little bit, just introduce what you are going to do, and then start the speech.
All right, thank you. So today, I'm gonna do the international speech. It's an inspirational speech, and the title is Motivation versus Consistency. For me, motivation was like on the top of the food chain. Right? For me to hit every goal, I gotta have motivation. Like motivation is, man, I'm going to the gym. Let me tell you something. Motivation left me in January when I said I was going to the gym every single day, right? Motivation, motivation, motivation. I started to realize motivation comes with a lot of, I'll start next week. Motivation comes with a lot of buts. But after buts, it comes with a lot of excuses. Motivation comes with a lot of, I'll try again next week. I'm just not motivated today. But then when I hear about consistency, being consistent builds habits. Being consistent builds resiliency, builds change. It builds life. I want to tell you a story about this guy named Weldon. He's not your typical good guy. Criminal record longer than Shaq's shoes. Long record. Weldon got sentenced for 13 years in prison. The first 2 years he played victim. He blamed everybody but himself. The responsibilities was everybody else's. Nothing was his fault for the first 2 years. The third year, Weldon finally came to the conclusion, let me start opening these books and start reading about life. He came up with this thing called the prosperity plan. It's like affirmations where you set up your future, like, I will be this, I will be that. He started reading this every single day for 15 minutes for 11 years straight. Was that motivation? How can you be motivated in a cell with bars for 13 years? He was just consistent for 11 years. Every single day, 15 minutes. He was telling how great he is, what he's going to do when he get out. November, Weldon finally get out at the age of 39 years old. Colorado. It's wintertime. Snow everywhere. He gets out. He had to go to the halfway house. He goes to the halfway house. He has one suit, one briefcase. That's all. So every single day he got up, put that suit on, grabbed that briefcase with nothing in it, walked to the bus station. It's cold, it's freezing. He gets on the bus. For some reason, he thought sales was going to be a good thing for him. So what he do? He go to the place that was hiring. He walk in. Hey, I'm welding. I'm ready to work. Give me anything. I don't care about anybody else. I will outsell anybody you have. I don't care about the economy. I won't care about the leads. Just give me an opportunity. Everybody's like, oh my goodness, welding, man. I love your attitude, man. We need more people like you. Welder said, wait, I have to tell you my story. I'm sorry, Welder, we're not hiring anymore. What you mean? You just had it in the paper. Well then, we already got somebody for that position. For the first month, he did the same thing every single day. Got dressed, put that suit on, walked out in that snow, got off the bus, walked in. Hey, I'm welding. I'm ready to work. Give me everything you got. I can do it. I don't care about the sales. I will outsell anybody you have. For 4 months straight, Weldon went through this. He kept getting no after no after no after no. One certain day, he walked in, ready to go, motivated. Hey, I'm Weldon. I'm ready. Give me an opportunity. He said, you know what, Weldon, I like you. We're going to hire you. Just give me everything that you went to jail for, put it on this paper, and I'm about to take it to HR. Weldon walked around like, yeah, this is my day. I finally got a job. The guy walked back in with his head down. Weldon said, no, man, no, please don't tell me you saying no. He said, if it was up to me, I would have hired you. He said, what are you going to do? What you mean what I'm going to do? Weldon walked out. As he walked to the bus station, he sat down at the bus stop waiting for the bus to come. And he was thinking, everything I was saying to myself in 11 years, was that bull crap? Like, I'm telling myself every single day how great I am, how can I can do whatever I want to do, but I keep getting these no's after no's after no's. And at this point, something clicked in his head, something that he said every single day for 15 minutes for 11 years. How bad do you want it? You just gonna give up now? You're the greatest. You're the smartest. You can do whatever you want to do. Weldon got up. He got back on that bus, went back to the halfway house. That very next day, 5 months, he walks into an air conditioning company. He say, same spiel, hey, I'm Weldon. I'm ready to work. God was like, your record is what? He said, man, I can't hire you. He's like, man, just give me a chance. He said, man, just call me back next week. Weldon called this guy back every single day for a week. Every single day for a week. The guy was like, man, you killing me. He said, man, give me a job. He said, man, I'm going to give you one chance. The first month Weldon worked there, he sold over $140,000 worth of air conditioning units. The first month. The first year, he started his own company and broke $40 million in sales in air conditioning company. He got in a magazine where it was the fastest growing company in a year. Was it motivation or consistency? He is now an author, a speaker, and giving everybody this information, the power of consistency. So motivation will come and go, but being consistent, you will reach every goal. Thank you.
Thank you, Orville. Well, the speech proves that philanthropic at the end wins, you know? All right, I'm going to introduce next our table topics master, who is Sarah Dawson, who is going to present you with some topics for speech.
All right, we're gonna do table topics a little bit different. Everybody is allowed to participate, whether you're a guest or a longtime member. Anybody can participate in this if you would like. It is an opportunity for extemporaneous speaking, so speaking on the fly, giving you an opportunity when somebody approaches you with a question to be able to sit back and be able to think about it and be able to answer and give a response. So anybody's welcome. Today we're gonna roll the dice, whatever it is. Okay, I got a number 3, so I'm gonna pick question number 3, and I will ask you that question, and then you will have an opportunity to be able to speak. Who would like
Probably
that?
have maybe time for 2, I'm guessing. 'Cause we
Okay.
have 2
Which 2
evaluation,
people would like
one
to go?
evaluation.
All
Go
right.
ahead.
No.
No, I'm gonna capture this, you know.
Yay! All right, think so? All right, right, roll the dice. What you got?
Oh, roll the dice. 5, my favorite number. I'm ready.
All right, number 5. Tell about a time you showed someone how you cared. What did you do, and what was the reaction?
Well, since I'm philanthropic, I always care. And I care because I came today. And I came today because Joey said last time when I came up on the stage, he said, "Have you done this before?" I said, "A few times." But I care about myself. And I was feeling very weak. I was starting to doubt myself. I was starting to doubt my journey of speaking and inspiring, being this kid from Fresno, graduating from Edison High School, and gladly telling people, I left Fresno. Oh, I got away from Fresno. I can't stand Fresno. I left Fresno. But I came back. And I came back because I care. But I came back because my father unfortunately passed away. And he always cared about giving back. So for me to give back and to be philanthropic would to be to give my gift, to give my voice, to give my time. So I'm sharing this with you, and I ask you all to question, what have you done that shows that you care about yourself today? How can you care more about others around you? And what does your caring look like? Because when we pour into what we care about pours into us. So now that I've said that, I will care to sit back down.
So does that also mean that Hope's going to be joining our club?
Possibly.
We've got time for one more.
Yep.
So I know you have a speech coming up quick, and you do not have to, but if you
Yeah,
want to give it a
thank
shot, I know a lot of us when we. Okay. I know the first time we ever got up here, some of us, I'm like, I was up there for 7 seconds. But I'm like, I was up there. All right. Who
I
would like
went
the
over
second
time,
opportunity?
didn't I?
Just 8 seconds.
Okay.
Right?
Oh, Haley, you wanna go?
Haley, yeah. Oh, let's do it.
Yay!
Keep 5 seconds.
Hey!
Let me speak at least 1 minute.
Yeah.
Qualified. Just give us 1 minute.
You got this.
You just do whatever you want. All right, go ahead and roll that.
Okay.
6. All right. Oh, it should be fairly, it's easier than some of the other ones I had on here. So.
I'll take it then.
What are your favorite ways to show you care?
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
When I think about showing that I care, my thoughts go quickly to my daughter. My daughter is 10, and I've recognized recently that she's at such a critical age of learning who she is, and that I need to really make sure that I'm taking the time to instill in her what things I care about, because they do become a reflection of yourself. And for any of you that have kids in your life, whether it's your own child or somebody else, we all have such a power to influence through taking that time to share both the positive things we care about and also the things that we struggle with that we may need to invest in. And this is one for me, something that I've always wanted to become better at, and communicating is something that I'm working on, and something that I really do care about. So like Hope said, showing up today is that first step, and I appreciate you letting me talk through that today.
That's the end of table topics today. I'm going to pass it over to our digital evaluator.
Thank you, Sarah. That was a good one. We're going to have to do that one again, because we didn't get to use everything that you had, your bag of tricks.
They were good questions.
I know you were. We're going to have to do that one again. Very cool. Well, as a general evaluator, I'm going to introduce the evaluator of the first speech, which is myself, and that was Mr. Darnell. And Darnell's given a few speeches here. We actually recruited him. He was all online, and he's like, wait a minute, there's a group that's meeting in person all the time? I said, yeah, come on over, Darnell, because Darnell is more in the upper echelons of the leadership, as he shared earlier today. So he is definitely an asset to us, and I was glad to bring him in. That was a little bit more muscle that we could have with our club. So Hope, Raquel, there's a lot that you both can add to this group, and yeah, that's exciting to hear that Hope might be joining us. So back to Darnell's presentation. So he did a PowerPoint presentation. Some of us, that is scary to get up here and have the slides. And I know he mentioned earlier having the clicker. It would have been nice to have the clicker, because Darnell, like myself, and maybe some of the gents in the room, can also, the big giant sausage fingers, I have a hard time. Wife's got to come in with her little delicate fingers to do stuff that I can't do just because my fingers are, so part of it is, pressing down, that kind of thing. But we'll get to that more on the work on part. But what he did really well was a presentation. And did you put that together? Or was that So he put it together. Very clean, very clean presentation, very professional. So you had the hardwood at the bottom you saw, and then you had the white or egg white or whatever background. So it made it very clear about what was on the screen for the presentation. It was simple. And there were pretty good bullets. They weren't super long, we had to sit there and read the whole thing and things like that. Quotes are a little bit different. But for the most part, the presentation, I thought you did a great job putting that together. And he told us what he was going to tell us. And was the presentation, did you put actually the verbiage and everything, all that together as well? So great with that. So he told us what he was going to tell us from the start, gave us all the objectives, what we were going to go over in the presentation. He defined terms, what is succession planning, what does that mean? From a Toastmasters club standpoint. He shared a quote from Jim Collins, one of my favorite books that I read when I started my journey in business and entrepreneurship, Good to Great, and all the other ones that Jim has written are great books in that sense. He made a great case for succession planning and why it's important. He had the hot topics, those are always great. Those are great sound bites, hot topics that kind of gets to the heart of the issue. And then he shared solutions to some of those hot topics and issues to work on. Now I know, again, PowerPoint for some, it's a little difficult to get used to. So eye contact, I know Darnell, I'm sitting over here, and he was making eye contact with some of you, but he was looking more at the presentation itself. It's probably because that was in front of him, and then I noticed some looking at him, saw him looking at the screen, and then their eyes went to the screen, and they're looking at him, and then they go into the screen. So that's just one thing, is being able to read those bullets and then work the room and then come back up, and then that will be a signal to everybody else to go, okay, what's the next point he's going to talk about, type of thing. The clicker, I mentioned a little bit earlier, that could have made it definitely easier, but I know he didn't even know he was going to be giving the speech today. He thought Darnell was going to give his too, and he was going to be able to just chill and watch Darnell. So that's a little bit more last minute and understandable. Didn't bring his clicker. And then just last slide formatting, was just one thing just forgot to do, probably rushing out the door. Oh shoot, and that last slide wasn't as formatted as the other, formatted like the other one. So those are the only other things to work on. Very, very simple stuff. Other than that, it's a very good speech. Thank you, Mr. Darnell. All right, for our second speech, so Coach Cordell, you probably don't have to time this. We're gonna go round robin, as Darnell was saying.
Okay.
So let's just go around. Darnell, do you want to start? We'll kind of go this way about any advice, any goods and bads. Coach
Yes.
Cordell?
Yes, Cordell. You're supposed to stand right there,
Oh,
Cordell.
Oh yeah, come on up, come on up.
On the hot seat.
The hot seat.
You're right.
Not that you can't handle that.
Yeah.
What's up, Darnell? What you got,
This is the second time I heard the speech, and I thought it was pretty good. I definitely like the pace. You pace it real well. One of the things that I just recommend, especially since you're talking about motivation, I would start off with a quote. I would just start off with a little quote to get everybody in the mood, and then go on there. And you project it well, and I thought the pace was great, and I liked the way your voice, your vocal variety was different. On certain key points you raised and came down to the soft part. That's great. They did a great job there. So the only thing I would recommend is that probably just add a little quote at the
Okay.
beginning, get everybody in the mood.
Gotcha.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Good job.
Especially for welding.
Yeah. I got a couple quotes for him.
Fantastic. I loved your energy. I loved how you used the space that you had available because as speakers, that's our stage. And so to pace and to stand, it adds to the speech. I loved the content, and I also loved how you used your pauses because that is a great way to grab the audience. My 2 recommendations are whenever you say, I want to tell you a story, cut that out. Just tell me the story, because you're going to say it anyway. So go into the story. We're here, we're listening. I know you're going to tell me the story. You already telling me the story. And finally, and this is also with Darnell, but you had a PowerPoint, closing with a thank you. We're here to listen. We can't even run out of the room if we want to.
Right, yeah.
So exactly, you're not. So thank you. Well, for what? I mean, I was standing here anyway, and you already had such a great speech. It could have been so choose motivation or consistency, something, but just throw out that thank you because we're here. And I think it's a winning speech. I really enjoy how you brought in someone's story and then said he's an author, he's a speaker. Like we followed you through that story. I enjoyed it.
I think where the thank you comes in at, especially in a speech contest, the timer's timing, and they have to make sure he meets the timing criteria. And when he says thank you, and that also happen with the transition, some people just say thank you and do this, and a Toastmaster comes up, or they'll end it Toastmaster. But it's just a way to let the timer know, stop timing.
Yeah.
Oh, understood.
Yep.
Okay.
Good.
I always go over, so maybe that's why. Yeah, I always go over.
I totally agree with it, Darnell, about like your vocal variety and just how it comes up and comes down, and we're right there with you, and it's just so exciting, and just the way you move and you're like ready to go. I absolutely love all of that. You're just like so inspiring, and I think so. For me, I think one of the things is I was having a hard time tracking some of the timelines, and it bugs me in Hallmark movies when they do this all the time. And I'm like, there's no way they could do it in that timeline. They just said this, and so maybe making sure like the details of that timeline are correct,
Gotcha.
Because the story's fantastic and you are fantastic.
Thank
And
you.
so
Thank you.
Yeah.
Good, Sarah.
I echo all of what they've said. I was thinking about the pacing that you had was just perfect. It was not too slow, not too fast, and just in the story, of course, very compelling. And I think everybody naturally starts to kind of envision themselves as that person and relate to that person. So I don't know if there's an opportunity, I might have missed if you said this, but parts that you could interject of saying, have you ever had a similar instance, or when have you had challenges that have sat in your way of success, or something like that, to kind of further emphasize that it's so relatable and something that we all experience in different ways. So that's all.
Thank you.
Great.
Well, I'm not sure how to critique you because I don't know. But me as a listener, I loved your energy, and I can relate in certain areas where it's like pumping me up, motivation versus consistency. To me personally, I think you did a good job.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Cordell, I was a judge when you did it the first time. What I wanted to do is to compare your first time with your second time, because it's very important.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but the first time you were more convincing. It's you. It's great speech. Everything is there, but I do believe that this time you tried to make too much of it. You know, like you were totally prepared, and you were in control of this speech, it should become kind of impromptu, you know?
Uh-huh.
Some of it should be relaxed, and I love your gestures when you do this and that. And the first time it was completely cinematic. I could see the guy in the cell, I could see how it goes to these different sites, you know, like I could picture it.
Yeah.
This time you kind of raced through it, you know, I really want you to remember how you did it last time
Okay.
and make it your best.
Gotcha.
You know what
Yeah,
I'm trying
yeah,
to say? It's an excellent speech and it's a winner.
Gotcha.
But the first time it was so convincing, you know,
Yeah.
and I fell in love with it.
Okay.
Maybe I was already exposed to it, that's why I'm giving my subjective opinion.
Yeah.
But it was a winner last time,
Okay.
you know? Today there was too much control, to me.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
okay?
Gotcha, gotcha.
Can I add to that? 'Cause I think, like, I think what you were saying in the first one, like, you were in the first one, you were picking up the briefcase and walking to the
Yeah.
bus stop
Yes,
and
it was
walking
completely
back.
cinematic,
And I think this time you tied your tie and pick up your briefcase just one time. You weren't like walking back and forth,
Gotcha.
driving through the snow. And the first time you were picking up on. what
you
said.
reached an effect of me seeing the images.
Mm.
That's the epitome of a speech, you know? When you just go distracted from the words and get into the imagery,
Yeah.
you are winning. Yes.
Gotcha. Thank you, thank you.
Everybody feel good. Yeah, he liked it
So
today.
it's like when you, because like you said, the first speech was like, I popped that out my head. Like it was like something that I worked on for a
Right.
couple hours, and it was like, let me go do this. But when you think about it every day, like how can I do this? So it takes away from the authenticity, like you're
Yes,
talking
yes,
about.
yes.
Yeah. So I get what you said.
Yeah, it's good.
I'll bring it back to Coach
This
Cordell.
is just to help you win.
Yeah.
It's not a
Yeah.
critique.
Got you,
Yeah,
got you.
Yeah, he liked that speech. He liked
I
that one
know he
better than
did.
your humorous speech.
Got
He
you.
liked that one. He liked the humorous
The whole
speech, but-
week.
Yeah.
Was this a humorous?
Huh?
Was this a humorous?
Oh, no, this is the international.
Oh, okay, right.
He's doing two speeches, he's gonna compete
So
in the
everything
humorous
that they were
contest
saying,
and
I don't want
the
to take too
international.
much time.
Understood,
Get
okay.
out of here, but and I think this is echoing what everybody's saying, I just kind of say it a different way. So value proposition from the beginning, what is the value the audience is gonna get out of it? And I think the best way to do that is with the headline. So consistency, motivation versus consistency is a little bland. My recommendation is go ChatGPT. I know you know ChatGPT. I want you to, if you can get the script of your speech, you just say it out.
Okay.
Say it out, record it,
Mhm.
put it through ChatGPT as you just get it into transcript. And then put the headline, your headline, consistency motivation, and say, can you act like an expert copywriter, sales copywriter? Give me 5, 10 counterintuitive headlines that I can use for this speech. Counterintuitive.
Got you.
Counterintuitive is beautiful because then it'll come up with these beautiful headlines that makes people think. When they look at it, they'll go, huh, and that's exactly what your speech is about.
Okay. Yeah.
Counterintuitiveness and motivation, people think that is the best thing.
Right, right.
Actually, it's consistency,
Yeah,
so it's
yeah.
the best thing, right?
Gotcha.
So I think it would come up with some awesome, and that would be your headline, you'd lead into it, I think that would be your value proposition.
Perfect. Thank you, guys.
Oh, man. Good luck when we get all the stuff for the contest. All right, with that, let's go to our team. I know we're running a little behind. If you got to get out of here, feel free if you need to. I know my watch is usually 2 minutes forward, so we got probably 2 minutes left. So I want to call up let's save our grammarian if we need to add in, somebody needs to add in the word of the day. Let's go timer. So coach, you want to come on up?
Okay.
Or you could just say it from there. If we need to add in, somebody needs to add in the word of the day. Let's go timer. So coach, you want to come on up?
Okay.
Or you could just say it from there. You
So,
know, that might
all
save
right.
us some time.
Darnell, 750.
We have our counter, Sarah. How'd we do?
Pretty good, actually. I was really impressed. Everybody did a fantastic job. In your opening speech, you had nothing. It was absolutely perfect. And then when you were speaking more on the fly, there was a few uhs in there. Coach, later on, you had a couple uhs, but during your speech, you were fantastic. And everybody else had like one and that Joey one So, fantastic day. You guys did a phenomenal job.
Thank you, Sarah. Thank you. All right, word of the day. How'd we do, Mr. Grammarian?
Well, hope amused me and amazed me. The use of the word. I congratulate you.
Thank you.
Our speakers, every sentence in their speech screamed philanthropic, but they didn't use it.
Yeah. Right. Thanks, Corinne. It was a good word, yeah. So something to mix in. The meeting, I think we did well. I think we started a little bit late. I'm gonna run a little bit late, but 2 great speeches today, and our table topics, we're gonna have to come back. I think, Sarah, we have to do this one again, because I think it was a good one to do. But whoever spoke, it did well. I think we learned a lot, and evaluators, I think that was a great round robin for Coach to get him ready for next week. And other than that, I think we did well. So let's now flip. We don't have a actual schedule for next week, but we want to get our roles for Denny so she can put them into our thing. So any speeches for next week, February 20th? The theme is, could I do more? Question mark. Anybody want to give any speeches?
I won't be here at all, so. Yeah.
So no Sarah? Okay. So should we wait on that one?
Yeah.
And then let's get our big ones. Let's get Toastmaster, General Evaluator, and Table Topics. Who wants to jump for those?
I'll do table topics,
Table
because I've
topics.
done general and Toastmasters lately.
Okay. Corinne? Anybody for Toastmaster, General Evaluator? And we'll have Denny back too, so we can.
You can
Sorry, no, you wanna jump in there?
Whatever you want.
You wanna do Toastmaster?
Yeah, I can do that.
Let's do it. And we can throw Denny into General Eval. Then we just have our littler roles, leadership roles, grammarian, on-counter, timer. I can throw myself in there. Coach Cordell, do you wanna jump into one of those?
I do the all counter.
On-counter. And then probably can throw in Renee. He just got called in today. Throw Renee into grammarian. Okay, other than that, we can get some speakers along the way, maybe when we send out the email, and then we can always throw in our evaluators. All right, other than that, any questions? Great work from our speakers today. Coach Cordell, Darnell, thank you for giving your speeches today. Thank those of you that did table topics. Hope coming in, giving us another pump up. When she was here, was it the fall or was it the summer?
It was right before
August, September?
yeah, it was before October, yeah, so
Okay,
it was,
before October.
yeah.
Yeah. So
because I
very,
remember
very
I was
good.
going to do my TED speech, so it was, yeah.
And how'd that go?
Went really well,
good?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, I'll send it to you.
Yeah, send it.
Okay,
Yeah, and we'll share with the group.
okay.
Very cool. And then Haley for coming up, braving it, and we don't ask that of our guests, but thanks for braving it, coming up for table topics.
Yeah, thank you.
Other than that, thanks all our leaders for our leadership roles, and we will adjourn the meeting.
Adjourned.
So any questions? Any questions from, especially we're leaders for our leadership roles, and we will adjourn the meeting.
Adjourned.
So any questions? Any questions from, especially Raquel, which is your kind of
Yeah.
second time around for Toastmasters?